This is the new TC Pride Podcast, episode 33, part 2 of on-location coverage of the free LGBTQ self-defense training seminar at the University of Minnesota. TC Pride Podcast, we are on location at the University of Minnesota, Coffin Memorial Union, and I'm here with the organizers of the LGBTQ self-defense training seminar that took place today.
I am Chandler Kreck, and I am from Woodbury, Minnesota.
My name is Spencer Simon. I'm from Woodbury, Minnesota.
And my name is Samantha Casagrande, and I am also from Woodbury, Minnesota.
So each of you have some specific background in martial arts. Can each talk about that a little bit, please?
Sure. I have a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo. I've been doing Taekwondo at Sound Mind and Body School of Taekwondo in St. Paul, Minnesota for around 10 years now. And I also have an interest in a bunch of other different martial arts, too. I really like mixed martial arts, and that's something I'm very passionate about.
I actually go to Ultimate Martial Arts out in Woodbury, Minnesota. I have my second-degree black belt. I'm also an instructor over there for the preschoolers and the juniors. I occasionally teach the adults as well. It's been something that's kept me from making awful decisions. It's kept me from finding things that are just unhealthy, and it's given me something to focus on, and it's been the best part of my life for the past 6 or 7 years.
And I have my first degree black belt out from UMA Woodbury as well, where I have done karate for 13 years now. And like Spencer said, it's just been a very large part of my life that's helped me make good decisions and helped give me kind of more discipline than I really would have had otherwise.
So tell me about the event that took place today. I understand you got quite a few people to sign up in a pretty short period of time.
Yeah. So Wednesday morning after the results of the election, I just kind of was like, I kind of thought that the LGBT community might be hurting kind of after the results of the election. And so I just shot a text to Spencer asking him if he wanted to help me out teaching this class. And I asked some friends, like, would you guys be interested in this? And they said yes. So I started trying to pull stuff together. And before I knew it, it snowballed into something that had been seen by well over 1,000 people and just got a lot more press than I ever originally anticipated.
So yes, like Sam said, she texted me in the morning, was like, do you want to do a self-defense seminar? Yes, of course I do. Are you kidding me? My mom actually woke me up the night of the election going, Trump won, and I started sobbing. I melted in her arms, and I was so terrified, and I could only imagine how terrified other people would be. So Sam said, okay, let's do it. We'll set it up. Let's do it Saturday. So oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming how many people got involved. It's amazing. And we're so thankful for it too. I don't think we could have asked for a better outcome than what had happened, you know.
And you said that you saw that the event was going on. You were like, awesome martial arts, right? And you wanted to help out, right? Can you tell me how you got involved?
Sure. I kind of just shot Spencer and Sam a message on Facebook, and then I asked if I could participate and help out if they needed it, and they said sure. And yeah, and the rest was history, I guess. But, you know, like I saw tons of things in the news about, you know, like so much racism and like hate and violence inspired by the results of the election. And, you know, I have tons of friends who identify as, you know, LGBT or queer, and just hearing them talk about how scared they were for their safety, like it really solidified the fact that like something like this was, you know, necessary.
Yeah, something that I've noticed on social media and just talking to other people this week has been like everyone has sort of had this sense of wanting to contribute to the well-being of the community through whatever gifts or whatever talents or abilities that they have. So I think it's really great that y'all put this together this week. I think there's a really big need for that in the community. And that kind of brings me to the next question, which is, obviously martial arts is a great way to, stay in shape, take care of yourself, empower yourself. But what I've been hearing a lot is that, it's just as important now, if not more than ever, to make sure that we're empowering each other and that we're taking care of each other. What are some ways that we can empower each other and take care of each other right now?
I really feel like people should focus more on bringing each other together, not worrying about titles, not worrying about where someone comes from, origins. That shouldn't matter. It should matter where they are right now, and that they need to, not just people in the LGBT community, everyone of every race, every gender, they need to come together right now, especially with all the stuff that's going on in this country. Literally everybody just needs to take care of each other. We need to worry more about taking care of each other than bringing each other down and bashing each other's race, religion, again, origins, where people come from. We need to accept each other right now as we are.
Yeah, I think that the first question that we always just need to ask everyone else is like, what can I do to help you with your situation? Because I am fully willing to acknowledge that, like, in talking to a lot of people, I don't understand their situation and I need them to explain it to me and tell me what I can do to help, rather than like me just imposing myself and my help.
Oh boy, I think that's like a really great point, is just asking, what can I do to help you? What can I do for you? And, just checking in on a daily basis with people. How are you feeling? How are you doing? What can I do to help you? Especially at this point in time with the results of like the election, and a lot of people are really struggling to cope with that, and especially surrounding like family members who may have different views and opinions and things like that. So really just being there for people and checking in. And I think another thing that we mentioned in the seminar, or somebody mentioned in the seminar, is that being an active bystander is very important in these situations. If you do experience or observe something hateful going on, stepping in and trying to de-escalate the situation, or providing a sense of community or safety for the individual who is experiencing that kind of hate. So just being there for everybody in your community or in other communities too. Like Spencer said, like setting aside like differences, but also recognizing those differences and working together and coming together and being there for each other.
Awesome. That was something that you addressed too, the concept of being an active bystander.
Yeah. I feel like really stepping in is a big part in a lot of situations. May it be bullying or harassment on a bus, on the street, catcalling, you need to step in, and you have to say something. You can't just sit there and watch these things happen, because those people are going to go on to think, oh, it's okay to continue speaking to people like this. It's okay to continue catcalling and making men and women feel uncomfortable about themselves, about their bodies. Because personally, I wouldn't want to be catcalled. I don't. I hate it. And it makes you feel disgusting to be harassed and violated like that. And if someone were to step in, it could change everything. It could change the whole situation, And if someone just simply steps in and talks to you while someone's screaming at you, that could be, in some situations, life or death,
Yeah, and when it does come to, the physical safety part of it, you each talked about how being together in a group is always important. You said something about like bullies like scare like really easily, and they're afraid of groups. Did you say something about that?
Yeah, I believe that we actually compared bullies to bears, in that if you make a lot of noise and, appear a lot larger than you are, then they won't attack you. They'll turn and run away, So the point is much more so to appear confident than to actually have that confidence. So just fake it till you make it, really.
I love it. And so Chandler, you had said something about, what did you say here? Oh, you said that if you don't, because we learned a lot today. I mean, that there were a lot of techniques, like specific martial arts techniques given. You had said something about if you don't maybe remember every step in the exact order, what's really important are like the concepts, right?
Right, totally. And I think it's really important to have that, like second nature, just have that instinct to protect yourself. And I think if you continue to like practice and all of that, and not necessarily remember all those steps like you were talking about, but just remember the concepts, it becomes second nature. And so when you're in those, threatening situations, you don't have to remember, okay, like I have to like bend their wrist this certain way, like it just comes second nature, and you have the confidence to defend yourself in those situations.
And so, Spencer, if I took away one thing from our seminar today, if there was one thing I remembered from the seminar today, go for the squishy, right? always go for the squishy, right? Can you talk about that a little bit, please?
So going for the squishy, it's not going for somebody's chub. Okay, we're not worried about that. No, it's that your organs are a lot more. They're a lot squishier than everything else. If you go for the skull, typically you'll end up with a broken hand. You will be more injured than they will be. You need to go for the vital pieces. Your skull is meant to sustain a lot of damage along with your face. There are some situations where, yes, you can go for the head, especially if it's towards the jaw or the temple. Those are the only acceptable places to place strikes on a face. Yes, there are very vulnerable parts, such as the groin, the stomach, but gouging eyes is a really good one. Those are very squishy. So you want to go for the squishy parts where, yes, it will hurt.
Yeah, I mean, I've done some martial arts myself, and sort of the number one rule of martial arts is the idea is to hurt the other guy, pretty much, right? You don't want to hurt yourself, right? And actually, you had actually done some pretty advanced like knife disarms, gun disarms, that kind of thing. There was a really important point about that you made sure to let everyone know.
Yeah, like definitely, a gun is a very serious threat, and like even with like all the training that the three of us have, you would probably just, if they ask for your wallet, you give them your wallet, You do what's necessary to keep you alive, because your life is a lot more important than anything else that they could take from you. So that's what we mean when we say just give them what they want, because that way you can hopefully walk away from that situation.
Good advice. So, all right. So, talking about just broader concepts as we wrap up here, for people that couldn't make it to the seminar today, what are some tips, some safety tips? You had talked about, being in groups and being aware of your surroundings. I know that's a big one with martial arts in general. Is just always being aware of surrounding things, like not being afraid to use your voice to yell, stop, letting someone know that you don't like or you're not comfortable with the situation that's going on. But what are some sort of maybe some basic concepts or techniques you can give someone in podcast form, because you obviously can't show how to grab the wrist in this particular way, but what are some basic general concepts you would give to people for protecting themselves?
Sure. I think one of the things is just where to strike on a body. Like Spencer was saying, eye gouging is perfectly okay. The squishy parts of the body, so like the stomach, groin is a perfect place to strike as well. And, a lot of people, when they think about fighting, it's like punching in the face and stuff like that. But I think the more, surprising striking things is like the most effective. So like biting or scratching, or we talk about like stomping on people's toes and stuff like that. So just like the element of surprise, and then also just those are like vulnerable parts of the body.
Yeah, definitely. I think that you just kind of have to realize that there is no such thing as a fair fight if someone's attacking you. So you should just do whatever it takes. And if that's biting their ear, then that's what it takes. You just kind of have to do what you think is necessary to get out of the situation. It seems slightly odd, but at the end of the day, you have to do what you need to do to ensure your safety.
And that was something that you made sure to point out too, Spencer, was you said that when it comes down to it, you need to do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, and honestly, I do. I think that our lives are the most precious things that we have. And, like Chandler said that I have said, go for the squishy bits, And like Sam said, biting. Biting is really good. If someone has their arm around your throat, it's really, really easy to get down and bite. Going for the throat as well. A windpipe is a very, very, very delicate thing. If you punch them in the throat, you could do some damage. You gotta do what you gotta do. Throw the rules out the window. There's no rule book for a fight.
And I think we were talking too. I mean, you've all been doing martial arts for a long time. I mean, it's generally better to try to avoid any kind of confrontation if possible, right?
Totally. I think rather than getting physically involved in the situation, I think verbal de-escalation is, one of the most primary things that you should focus on first. We talked about, like the bystander intervention. If you see somebody like on a train, if they're getting harassed, you want to step in and talk to the victim being harassed rather than being confrontational with the harasser. Just things like that. So like verbally de-escalating the situation and avoiding having to get physical is very important. But if you do get physical, we also stress, running away from the situation. You don't want, our purpose of having the seminar is not to like teach people how to beat other people up, but to protect themselves and then get out of the situation.
Yeah, that was one of the key points that John made sure to point out, was you said if you can run away, run away. There's no shame in running away, right? If the most important thing is to protect yourself. And actually, Spencer, you said something too. You talked about how, most people, right? Like most normal people don't want to hurt other people or don't like to hurt other people or don't feel comfortable hurting other people. But you said that's something that you kind of have to get over at some point. You said, that your life and your safety are really the most important things. Talk about that a little bit, please.
So there is a psychological response that happens when you are being attacked. It's fight or flight. And it also happens when people are having anxiety attacks and panic attacks too. Comfort gets thrown out the window when you are being attacked. You're vulnerable. You need to do what you need to do to keep what's precious to you safe. If someone were to grab you on the street and start doing horrible things, you need to do what you need to do. I personally don't like hitting people. I don't like being violent. It scares me. I feel horrible. But if someone were to grab me on the street and start coming after me, I will not hesitate. It needs to be one of those things where something is happening, you need to react. And I teach preschoolers. If something they don't like is happening, they're going to tell you. They're going to do something about it. And at some points, you need to be that 3-year-old and you need to tell them, I don't like it. I know that it's really hard for people to speak up, especially in situations where they feel like they've had their identity stolen or they feel like they're not themselves afterwards. And I know that it's really, really hard to speak up after that. I know. I really do. And I want everybody to feel like they're safe and accepted in this world and that they don't have to fear going out, on the streets, that they don't have to worry about leaving their apartment, their house, their dorm, or leaving, a place that they were hanging out at night. I hope everybody feels safe and that they can do something to make themselves more comfortable in situations and in this world.
Thank you so much to all of you, and thank you all for contributing to this awesome event today and providing this for the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
The TC Pride Podcast has been a production of Podletter Media and Twin Cities Pride. Subscribe now on iTunes or Google Play and submit your first Pride story at myfirstpride.org.